Hello and welcome to the 9th lesson of the course Copywriting from 0 in 30 days. Today we are talking about wireframes and mockups. These are the modern formats of copy that copywriters use in their work. Let me show you an illustrative example. Many people believe that a copywriter is a person who simply writes text, something like that. But in fact, such a complex book format is quite rare in copywriting, because the audience nowadays is accustomed to reading simple content. People spend a lot of time on social networks and look through a huge number of web pages. As a result, they choose the texts that are easier to scan and perceive. And this is not a whim, but a feature of the human brain. That's why modern copywriters create not just text, but wireframes or mockups. These are the layouts of the future information careers: web pages, presentations, blog posts, business proposals, etc. These layouts, beside text, also contain pictures or placeholder images and different interactive elements, such as buttons, forms, tabs, and so on. Technically, the amount of symbols in a wireframe or mockup can be the same as in plain text, or even more. However, since the text is diluted with additional media elements, it doesn't seem too large. Moreover, the reader has an illusion that the copy is very easy to read. The difference between wireframes and mockups. Now let's talk about the difference between a wireframe and a mockup. Despite the fact that these concepts are close, they are still very different. A wireframe is just a bare layout. No styles, no images, no colors. Just text, placeholders, and interactive elements. And that is all. A wireframe is also a ready-made technical task for designers. In fact, this is a drawing where you can select and copy the text. A mockup is a layout with styles, colors, and images, and it is much more like the final product that the audience will see. However, you should understand that this is still the same layout, just in design. Making a mockup is more difficult because a copywriter needs to have additional skills to develop it. But when you have these skills, you can impress your clients or partners and earn more money. The finished wireframe or mockup is then handed over to the layout designer, who turns it into the final product: a web page, presentation, brochure, booklet, etc. One more time. This is a wireframe. This is a mockup. And this is the final page. Creating a wireframe from scratch. Now let's create an illustrative wireframe of a commercial web page from scratch. For this example, we will use the initial data from the market analysis that we conducted in the 7th lesson. As you remember, we wholesale spare parts to service centers in it. To create a wireframe, I am using Google Drawings as a development environment, but you may use any other program or service of your choice: Axure, Balsamiq, Figma, Mockups, or anything else. Personally, I prefer Google Drawings because it's free, easy to use, flexible, and cross-platform solution in the cloud. It has rich collaboration features, lets you save your work in different popular formats such as PDF, PNG, or even SVG, and it is more than enough to solve 99% of copywriting tasks. Okay, let's talk more action. Let's go step by step from the blank page to complete wireframe. Step 1. Start a new file and combine it with the grid. First, we need a new file. If you plan using Google Drawings like me, go to your Google Drive, press New, then More, and choose Google Drawings. Let's change the background color to white instead of transparent and set the working area vertical size to around 60 inches or about 150 centimeters. If necessary, it can be changed later. By the way, most of the actions are shown in fast-forward mode to convey the key principles. If you want to learn more in detail about Google Drawings and creating wireframes or mockups in it, please write in the comments below, and I will create a separate course about it later. To arrange the wireframe blocks evenly, we need a grid. Some programs and services have it as a built-in feature, some not. Nonetheless, you can get it either from the 960 Grid System website or from the template I'm using right now. By the way, this template has a lot of useful stuff. I will place the links in the description below. Step 2. Make the first screen. The first screen of the page is what the audience sees in the first seconds after the site is loaded, without any scrolling. This is the first stage of AIDA model. We talked about it in the 6th lesson. And this information is crucial because it depends on it whether a person stays on the site and continues reading or closes the page and leaves. To develop the first screen and the entire wireframe as a whole, we use the principle of a layer cake, layer by layer filling the workspace with content blocks. For example, the first layer is the page header. It usually contains the company logo and contacts for quick communication. The second layer, in our case, is visual anchors as an authority attribute. We show the brands we work with and enhance our offer with their popularity. The third block is a background image with a headline, subheading and a button. We write the headline according to For You formula. We talked about how to do this in detail in the fourth lesson. The final layer of the first screen is the key aspects that are important to readers and evoke their interest. Technically, this layer acts as a lead with the pure solution approach. We talked about it in lesson 5. Step 3. Create benefits, objection handlers, and calls to action. The remaining blocks are created one by one. Their order is determined by their importance and relevance to the audience, and almost every block has its own subtitle to make it easier for the people to scan the page. After arousing interest, we begin to work with the emotional and rational perception of readers, so we show impressive photos of our warehouse, focus on items in stock and same-day delivery. After that, we can show other key benefits in a separate block. All these factors stimulate the desire of the audience to cooperate with us. Then we can create a layer with an intermediate call to action, for example, to get a catalog. Even if the readers leave the page without taking the main target action, we will still have their contact data for communication. After that, we can create a sequence of layers with objection handlers. For example, we can emphasize reliability and safety by saying that all products are certified. Or we can tell the audience about deferred payment option. Finally, we can show the famous clients, if you have their permission of course, handle tricky objection if you already have a supplier, answer the frequently asked questions, and tell about our company. The final layers of the wireframe are call to action, a map with an address, and a footer with a logo and contact information. As a result, we have a draft wireframe. Of course, it's still raw, needs editing and refinement, but we will talk about it in a separate lesson. If you want to look at this wireframe more carefully, I'll leave the link to the file in the description below. Practical task. Now it's time to practice. Try to create your own wireframe or mockup of any existing page. Choose it at your discretion. You will succeed. Take care of yourself, subscribe, and see you in the next lesson.